Good evening, and thank you so much for joining us for the virtual kickoff for the 2020 Hope in Motion Walk and Run. I'm Gail Alswanger, Director of Development, and I am delighted that you can join us this evening. We're really excited for this year's Walk and Run, and that's largely because of the excitement and dedication we've seen from all of you. Last year, during the earliest days of the pandemic, you took a leap of faith and helped us raise more than $500,000 through the 2020 Walk and Run. The response was truly incredible. And it helped make sure we were able to provide critical services to our patients during a very difficult and challenging time. So I want to thank you from the bottom of our hearts who made our 2020 event such a success. But since cancer doesn't stop, we need to keep going. That's why we're taking the lessons we learned last year and we're working to make this year's Walk and Run even better. Because of you, I know we can make that happen. So thank you to all of our 2021 volunteers, sponsors, donors, and staff who are helping us create another incredible event so that our patients can continue using our life-saving services. And thank you again to our Bennett Cancer Center physicians and staff for making a difficult year a little easier for our patients and their families. Stanford Health is incredibly grateful to all of you for continuing to support this wonderful event. Now, let me introduce Peter Penapento, an industry expert who has been working closely with us to help build this year's event and who will walk us through this evening. Peter?
Gail, thank you so much for the introduction. Tonight, we're going to offer you a quick primer on the 2021 virtual Hope in Motion Walk and Run. As always, we're going to be gathering on the first Sunday of June, June 6th, National Cancer Survivors Day, to celebrate those who have survived cancer, remember those we've lost, and to try to make a difference for those who are facing treatments today and in the future. Before we go too far, though, I really want to echo some of Gail's comments and acknowledge what we accomplished in 2020 because it was really extraordinary. Last year at this time, the idea of holding a virtual fundraising event seemed about as foreign to many of us as trying to run a 5K on the planet Mars. After all, how could we possibly have a walk and run if we're not gathered in Columbus Park? What do we mean there's no registration fee? How do I work Zoom? It might seem a bit funny now, after living for more than a year during the pandemic, to think about those questions, but they were very real for all of us. And yet look at what we did. Together, we managed to raise more than $500,000 for Bennett Cancer Center. We had more than 500 people from more than 100 teams take part, and we had nearly 20 sponsors who supported this first-time virtual event. And because we were virtual, we had walkers and runners from all over the country joining us. The response was really inspiring, and it made a huge difference to patients at the Bennett Cancer Center. Even better, during some of our darkest days, we managed to have a really good time, all while doing something to help others. This year, the circumstances are quite a bit different. Many of us have started getting our vaccines, so there's a sense that our worst days are behind us. But we're still not quite ready to attempt to gather a large group in person. COVID-19 remains a very dangerous virus, and as a healthcare organization, Stanford Health thinks it's really much more important to stay safe and avoid hosting an event that will slow down efforts to bring COVID-19 under control. So we see this year's event as less of a move into uncharted waters as it is a chance to build on what we accomplished in 2020. And as a chance to make sure we continue to support patients who are dealing with cancer, even as we continue to navigate life during COVID-19. So now that we're a lot more familiar with virtual events, we're designing a program that will be even more fun and engaging than last year's. And now that we've all grown more accustomed to giving and raising money online, we hope that we can build on last year's success. After all, we know the need is great. Each year, 5,500 patients walk through the doors of Bennett Cancer Center to get treatment for cancer. And each year, the Walk and Run provides those patients with life-changing support that helps them with their treatments. This is always true, but it's especially true now during COVID-19, when the risks are greater and the challenges associated with getting care are very real for many of the patients at Bennett Cancer Center. Here's a short video that helps show how the Hope in Motion Walk and Run benefits our patients.
I think one of the things that everyone would agree upon is that going through cancer diagnosis and all the tests that are going to be needed and the treatments that are going to be required are going to put a lot of stress on a patient. I think the integrative medicine services that are provided at the Bennett Cancer Center really do an amazing job of trying to take away some of that stress during what's a difficult process for patients and their families.
At the start of the program, our patients meet with one of our certified cancer exercise specialists to complete a health and fitness assessment. Phase 1 of the program includes 2 one-hour workouts per week with one of our certified trainers. Phase 2 is the self-guided part of the program, where patients will have an individualized workout plan that they will continue to do on their own.
I came out of those sessions feeling less pain and more alive. And it was something that I really needed after having days and days and weeks and months of treatment.
I think for me, getting back to that state of normal is something that at times you take for granted had you not been undergoing treatment and having to deal with all of that. But for me, it was getting back to an active lifestyle, which I thought going over to the Tully Center and working with a personal trainer was immensely helpful. I couldn't have asked for a better support system here at the Bennett Cancer Center.
When the social worker suggested Reiki or massage, the first thing that went through my mind was, great, I get to get a massage. People don't realize what you're physically going through and your body is physically hurting. Having these services was important to my treatment because that part of treatment was not about cancer. It was about me, LaVon, and me healing as an individual and as a person.
And I think that many people like that there's a big variety, that they don't just get surgery, chemo, the regular stuff, but they get these adjuncts to add on to their healing. It's a really, really beneficial program for the patients.
When I was undergoing chemo treatment, my daughter Danielle would have to get a cab and bring me here because I was so weak. I mentioned to one of the social workers how expensive it was for me to come back and forth, and she told me about the transportation services. Once I got in the car, I felt comfortable knowing that I was be able to get to my treatment and didn't have to worry.
I've been a volunteer at Bennett Cancer Center for almost 4 years. It is extremely gratifying and rewarding. I go around to the individual rooms when the patients are receiving treatment, and I ask them if they would like a sandwich, and they're very happy.
The most important thing to remember about this grant is that it is not for any kind of medical expenses. It's really for living expenses. We have a lot of patients that are suddenly not working, they're not being paid, they're struggling to pay their mortgage or pay their rent.
Well, when I was diagnosed, it was kind of like a big kaboom, and we had just bought a house and 2 cars and had 2 kids, and then I had to stop working. So for a while, we were just trying to figure out how to make ends meet.
We ended up getting a full month of mortgage paid for through the grant. That freed up our income to go to all of the other things that it needed to go to, and just gave us some breathing space that we needed for Amy to start with her treatment.
The patients are usually overjoyed. The relief that I hear in their voices when they're calling to say thank you is tremendous.
We knew we'd get world-class medical care here. We really didn't expect to have all of these other services available. It was just amazing, from the grant program to even in recovery, Reiki and yoga, personal training. Just the amount of services that were provided to us was really unexpected and unbelievable. I can't believe that all of this is here at the Bennett Cancer Center right in our backyard. For us, hope happened here.
For us, hope happens here.
For me, hope happens here.
For me, hope happened here.
For our patients, hope happens here.
For me, hope happens here.
Hope happens here.
For me, hope happened here.
So that's really why we're doing all this, and why we're so thankful for all of your support. Before I go into the particulars of this year's event, though, I think it's important to hear how before we get into the particulars of this year's event, though, I think it's important to hear about how the Cancer Center was able to pivot its operations during these challenging times. To share more, here's Laura Siegel, a social worker at Bennett Cancer Center.
Hi, I'm Laura Siegel. I'm one of the social workers at the Bennett Cancer Center. I'm happy to be here with you. You just had a chance to learn how the money you raise impacts our patients and how important it is for us at the Bennett Cancer Center to have you involved. Let me continue our story by giving you some important information about how we were able to successfully pivot our operations during COVID and how the money raised is now going to some additional programs. We made a quick and smooth transition to telehealth visits. We did now return slowly to in-person throughout the summer, with telehealth still remaining an option when needed. Patients coming into the center for chemotherapy treatment now had to come alone. Our staff not only figured out how to make them comfortable, but served as their family during that time. Some services had to stop completely due to the nature of them, but I am happy to report we have been fully operational since the summer, with the majority of our integrative medicine programs up and running. Food insecurity became an issue for over 200 Bennett Cancer Center families. Our walk and run was able to add this to the list of services it can now fund. Food cards are distributed to families in need who are experiencing food insecurity. Survivor Journey's virtual support group programs was also added to the list of services the Walk and Run provides help to. This allows our patients to continue getting group support from the comfort of their home. I just want to say thank you on behalf of the Bennett Cancer Center staff and patients. Without our team captains and members who participate each year, these services would not exist.
Thank you, Laura. So let's talk a little bit about how this year's event will work. When we hold the walk and run in person, you typically have 3 options for participation. You can take part in the fundraising walk through downtown Stamford, you can take part in the 5K run, or you can take part in the 10K run. In each case, you pay a registration fee to help cover our costs for staging the event and are encouraged to fundraise by asking your friends, families, and coworkers to support your participation. When the virtual version of the walk and run, with the virtual version of the Hope and Run, you have a lot more options for how to participate. You can still walk in support of the Bennett Cancer Center on event day, June 6th. You can also run a 5K or a 10K that day, but you have a lot of other options too. You could do a walk or run on your own on a different day if you'd like, or you can choose your own activity in support of Bennett Cancer Center. We'll share more about how to do that shortly. But because we don't have to worry about the costs of staging the in-person event, we're making it free to participate. You simply register online and you're ready to go. Of course, once you register, we also encourage you to make a donation and to actively fundraise to help support our patients. We hope that everyone will ask their family or friends to register with them for the virtual event, and that you'll attempt to raise a minimum of $100. Reaching that $100 threshold will get you a t-shirt this year. And if you're making a donation and don't plan to walk or run, you should still plan to register for the event so that you can qualify for the incentives. I'll outline more about those incentives later, but the important thing here is to register and to fundraise. Regardless of how you want to participate, the key thing is to make sure you're registered, make sure you raise money, and make sure you take steps to support patients at Bennett Cancer Center. Now, there are a lot of ways that you can creatively participate and raise money for the walk and run. And some of our teams have already developed some wonderful templates that might be easy for you to follow and adapt. One of Walk and Run's most active teams is Fight Like a Boricua. If you've taken part in past events at Columbus Park, you might remember seeing them out walking or dancing to the DJ. During those in-person events, they usually gave away gift baskets randomly to donors who supported the team. But since we've moved to virtual, they've gotten even more creative. Last year, they did a 50-50 raffle, which they conducted through Facebook. And the raffle was a big hit. It raised about $600. Ahead of the walk and run this year, they're using social media to give away small prizes to encourage donors to support the team in reaching fundraising thresholds that they've set. Anyone who likes or shares their posts or who creates a post to support the team is entered into raffles along the way. Right now, they're close to raising more than $7,000, and they're planning to give away a throw blanket once they've reached that threshold. Another really great idea comes from our friends at Team Ashforth, who created the Soap in Motion Challenge. You know, we have hope in motion, they have soap in motion, get it? Well, let me tell you quickly what that actually means. Similar to the old Ice Bucket Challenge, people were nominated to take the Soap in Motion Challenge, where they were asked to record a 20-second video of themselves washing their hands while singing their favorite song. They also had the option of skipping doing the video and making a donation. People could either submit their videos to the Ashforth Company, and then they posted those videos to their website, or they could post it on social media on their own using the official Hope in Motion hashtags and the hashtag Soap in Motion. It was really creative to get people engaged that way and to encourage responsible behavior to stop the spread of COVID-19. Another team, Team Haven, offers yet another creative approach. Instead of washing their hands, they went outside, creating a 2-week walking, running, biking challenge in which each member of the team logged their miles on a Google spreadsheet. Team members could exercise together or independently. They could do it inside, outside, or on a treadmill or stationary bike. Really anything worked. But they had so much fun amassing more than 750 miles during the last 2 weeks of May and June last year, and they raised more than $1,800 for the walk and run as a result. They're planning to do it again this year with the goal of logging more than 1,000 miles this time and raising even more money. And I suspect they're going to get there. Another team, Sal's Cellmates, is using the power of beer and pizza to raise money virtually for the walk and run. They've created a beer and pizza gift basket featuring local IPAs from Lock City Brewery and gift cards to Colony Grill and Rico's Pizza. And they're raffling it off to everyone who donates to their team. They're going to draw their winner on June 6th. So as part of my work as a consultant, I research and provide content about peer-to-peer fundraising campaigns across the US and Canada. After seeing some of the examples from the walk and run teams last year, I'm really inspired and impressed by your creativity. There are some great examples that are happening right here. And I suspect that now that we've done this once before, the creativity will really pop this year. And if you'd like a bit of further inspiration, I'd like to just share a few more ideas that I've seen working in other communities. One of my favorite examples comes from the ALS Association's Greater Chicago chapter. There, a lot of their supporters were able to create a series of neighborhood walks rather than one big central walk. People who signed up to participate in the neighborhood walks would invite their neighbors to come outside and cheer them on during walk day. And then they'd invite others to do a socially distanced walk in their neighborhood to support the organization. Neighbors would decorate their front porches or do chalk designs on their driveways to support the walkers. It was a really great way to turn a socially distant event into something that engaged entire neighborhoods. And it was a great way for longtime walkers to ask for support from people who lived on their street or just around the corner. While doing hyperlocal in your neighborhood is a fun way to get people engaged, so is going in the opposite direction. One of the great unintended side effects of not meeting in Columbus Park is that literally anyone can join your team and participate. Doesn't matter where they are. The virtual walk and run gives you a chance to recruit faraway relatives and friends to join your team, to participate, and to fundraise. It's a great way to get some of your fellow Fairfield County expats to take part without having to actually be in Fairfield County. Personally, I just signed up for a May virtual run in my hometown of Rochester, New York. I was inspired to take part by a former high school classmate who reached out to me and he was using the run as a way to raise money for a scholarship fund in honor of my old high school cross-country coach. Now, I never would have had a chance to participate in this event if I had to be there in person. After all, I live 6 hours away and I can't just go up there anytime. But because it was virtual, I was able to sign up, make a contribution, and feel like I was part of an event in my hometown. You could do something similar with your team. You could enlist people from outside the area who might not have previously been involved or might have been involved with you before but have moved away. If you're not part of a team and are participating on your own, one tactic that works really well is to get people to support, or one tactic that works really well to get people to support you is to chart your Hope in Motion journey on social media and pair each entry with a link for people to donate to your fundraiser. Michael Harris, a cancer survivor and first-time fundraiser, last year decided to take part in the Great Cycle Challenge, which raises money for Children's Cancer Research Fund. Michael got on his bike and he biked regularly every day last summer, ultimately logging nearly 500 miles. He posted a video or photo each time he went out and posted it to his social media accounts. And by the end of his journey, those postings inspired 150 of his colleagues, friends, and family members to donate more than $33,000. It was pretty simple, but it was amazing how much support he was able to mobilize. So as you can see, there are a lot of really creative and fun ways to participate and to fundraise. So to make it even easier or to provide you with some more incentives, we've come up with a few different fun things that you can do along the way to help try to motivate you to move forward. First, we have created some incentives for individual fundraisers to help meet some easy fundraising thresholds. If you register and you raise at least $50 by May 1st, for instance, you'll receive a Hope in Motion walk and run mask. Those will be sent to you via mail before the event so that you can wear them while you're out doing your virtual campaign. And if you register and raise at least $100 by May 17th, you'll receive a handsome walk and run t-shirt. We're going to have a special announcement at the end of the presentation where we're going to be unveiling the color of this year's shirt. So we want to make sure you stick around for that. If you're not planning to walk or run virtually, but you're making a contribution of at least $50 or $100, we really encourage you to register anyway so that you can qualify to receive the mask or t-shirt. The same is true if you just want to make a donation. It's really important that you register and contribute to raise a minimum of $100 to get that t-shirt. We also have a special incentive available for teams. Each team that registers and collectively raises at least $500 by May 17th will receive a special team goodie bag, which will include items that you can use during your virtual activity. The t-shirts and team goodie bags will be available for pickup at Print PromoWare. The current pickup dates and location are shown here on the screen. We're going to share this information again later in the presentation in case you miss it, but it's really important to make sure that you pay attention to when you can pick up these, to pick up your swag, so that you can make sure you sport it and you get your incentives. Now, we've also created a special tribute book this year, which offers you a chance to place a special tribute ad in honor or in memory of a loved one. You can create an ad to thank a doctor or other caregiver. You can also do it just to promote your own business. Proceeds from the ad sales support the walk and run. And you can view the tribute book and place an ad on the Walk and Run website by clicking on the tribute book link in the navigation. So now that we've given you a few different ways that you can try to motivate yourself to raise money and some ideas for some creative ways to do it, we also want to just walk you through a few of the mechanisms that you can use to raise money. One really easy way to fundraise is through Facebook. Facebook has been an incredibly powerful tool for many of you over the past 2 years. But for those who aren't familiar, I just want to do a quick walkthrough of how to use it so that you can make the most out of the experience. It starts by logging into your participant center. This is a really crucially important step. You want to make sure you link your Facebook fundraiser to your active fundraising campaign so that you can qualify for the incentives. So we encourage you to do that through the participant center rather than just going through Facebook. So when you log into your participant center, we have a blue Facebook box that's located on the top right-hand side of the page that you just click on that, and it makes it really easy for you to start going through the process of signing up. Once you do that, the site will walk you through step by step how to activate that fundraising campaign. And once you get to the end of that process, you'll be confirmed and you can actually start fundraising. We encourage you when you get through that process to set a goal. It could be realistic, but also a challenge. We found that when you set an ambitious goal, friends and family really want to help you get there. So let's say you raised $100 last year. Set a goal that's a bit beyond that this year and see if people will contribute to it. You'll be surprised with what they do. So, consider upping your goal to $150 or $200, whatever you feel comfortable doing. But that's a bit more than what you might have expected normally. We've also found that when you pair that goal with a personal story about why you're fundraising, it really helps people feel a personal connection to why you're doing it. So we recommend, if you've experienced cancer or been through a treatment, to share a story about your own experience. Or if you're doing this in honor of a friend or loved one, you can tell their story and talk about why you're supporting them. The key, though, is to really be authentic and make it really something that is personal to you and is something that's real and true. And we also recommend that you tag or attach a photo to your story that really helps people see and feel why you're doing this. So it's really incredible how easy it is to raise money through Facebook. One of our participants this year, Sue Gulliver, has already raised more than $6,000 for the walk and run through Facebook. So she, has taken many of the steps that we've recommended and really gotten people to follow her and contribute. So follow Sue's lead and do what you can through Facebook to help make your fundraising effort a success. And if Instagram is more your speed, we're also happy to announce that you're now able to fundraise through Instagram. The process is a bit different than it is for Facebook. And it's also important to note that because Instagram doesn't offer a direct integration to the walk and run, that the total or the money you raise won't necessarily go to your team or personal total, but the money will still come to the Hope in Motion Walk and Run, and it will still support patients at the Bennett Cancer Center. So to fundraise on Instagram, what you need to do is to select a photo from your feed to start your Instagram story. Click on the sticker icon at the top, and it'll pull up the page that's shown here on your screen. So you've selected your photo, you've hit the sticker icon. The next thing you want to do is click on donation, and that sticker will tell Instagram that this is a fundraising event. Once you click on donation, type in the search bar and pop up that and type Hope in Motion in the search bar, and that'll pop us up as the first option so that it'll connect your fundraiser to the walk and run. And then you'll post your story and send it out to your folks, and then they'll be able to raise money or contribute money directly to your campaign. So regardless of how and what format you're using to raise money, we recommend that you use the hashtags that are unique to the Hope in Motion Walk and Run so that it shows up in all of our feeds and that we can help highlight and share your fundraisers in our networks. This year, the hashtags are Hope Happens Here and Cancer Does Not Stop. We really recommend that you try to use one or both of those each time you post something to social media. You don't have to just use social media though. Another easy way to fundraise is through mini events. These are events that you organize on your own that can raise money for the walk and run. These were really popular in the years in which we were doing the in-person events, but they also work really well virtually. There are a lot of ways that you can do a mini event. All of them are fun, and all of them offer you a chance to pass the hat and raise some money that can be counted towards your fundraising goals. We've listed some ideas for mini events here, but I want to quickly share a couple of current examples so you can see what others are doing. Earlier this week, for example, Team Breast Friends played host to an hour-long virtual fashion event in which a portion of the proceeds from the event were donated to the Hope in Motion Walk and Run. So as you can see, there are a lot of really different ways that you can do this. Another way is through food-based fundraisers. On June 4th, for example, you can join the Wienery for a Hot Dogs for Hope event in which a percentage of the food sales will be donated to the walk and run. And on that same day, Team Mama Joe is hosting a beer yoga class, also to benefit the walk and run. So while I've given you a lot of ideas for creative ways to fundraise, the most important thing to remember is to just ask. It doesn't matter how you do it. You can do it in person, you can call people up, you can do it through social media, you can do it through mini events. You can also do it through email. A simple email sent to family or friends can be just as effective as any of these other ways of raising money. Here's an example that we drafted for last year's event. The key, though, is to just keep it really real and to provide a link where people can easily donate to support you. And you can find some more ideas and sample messaging for email messages and other things in the fundraising section of the Walk and Run website. We're off to a really great start this year. As of this morning, we've already raised more than $181,000 for the Walk and Run. That means we're nearly halfway to our goal, but we still have a long way to go. And it's worth remembering that we raised $500,000 in 2020, and much of that money was raised in the month leading up to the Walk and Run. So now is really the time when most of our fundraising happens. So it's not too late to join this list of amazing teams and individuals who have already been out there raising money. We want to thank all of these great supporters for their work so far. And we want to give some special recognition to Joan Weissman and Team Edgehill for being our top individual and team once again this year. They're on the top of this list almost every year, and it's really inspiring what they do. So, they're a real inspiration for all of us. We're going to be making some other special announcements about this year's event in the coming weeks. Our goal is to provide you with everything you need to have a fun and worthwhile experience, and to make sure that together we support our patients at the Bennett Cancer Center. Let's just go over a quick few final ideas on how you can help us achieve your goals. First, if you're a team captain, we need you more than ever. Your enthusiasm and encouragement with your teams is going to be incredibly important. So your help is something that we're going to really lean on. You can help by inviting former and prospective team members to join, and then finding ways to gather together virtually before and during the event to keep people charged up and ready to go. If you're not a team captain, you can still help us spread the word. If you have a friend or family member who you think would enjoy participating virtually, please invite them to join you. You might even be able to take part in the same activity together. Having a partner really makes this event much more fun, and it will help motivate each of you to raise more money. We talked a bit about goals earlier, and I want to really reemphasize the importance of setting a goal. You'll be surprised what you can accomplish if you set something that's a bit more than what you thought was possible. Your friends and family will likely want to come through and help you meet your goal. They'll be especially motivated if you promise to do something fun or crazy if you reach the goal. So you can throw an incentive out there. Say you're going to grow a mustache, or color your hair a different color, or post an old photo of yourself on Facebook if you reach your threshold. Putting those carrots out there will get your friends and family to want to go an extra mile and see you get there. And it also helps if you make a personal donation. The most successful fundraisers start by making a contribution of their own. This sends a signal to others that you support the cause that you're participating for. And it also means that you're not starting from zero. but most importantly, have fun. The cause is serious, but this is about having a good time. Let's not forget that. Let's really do what we can to make this this whole process something that's really fun and enjoyable for everyone. So I'm going to open things up in a minute for questions, but first I wanted to mention that you'll be seeing logos of our great sponsors on the screen during the Q&A session. But more than just showing their logos, I really want to take a brief minute to thank them personally. So we want to thank all of this year's sponsors, who include Ashforth, the founding and presenting sponsor for the Walk and Run. Other sponsors include BMW of Darien and Mini of Fairfield, Connecticut Business Systems, CBRE, Empire State Realty Trust, Encon, Finn, Dixon and Hurling, First County Bank, Freepoint Commodities, General RE, Jackson Lewis, King School, Kolbrenner and Alexander, Oppenheimer, Palmer Supermarket, Presidio, Stamford Moms, Stamford Office Furniture, You Break, I Fix, United Healthcare, Vertist Investment Partners, 0 Hour Health. Now, I'd like to introduce Kari Pollack, manager of the Hope in Motion Walk and Run. Kari will be joining us to answer your questions and provide some insights about this year's event. If you have a question, please type it into the question box along with your name. So Kari, welcome.
Thank you, Peter, and thank you for all those great ideas and such a great program. I also want to say thank you to all of our team captains and participants and sponsors. Thank you for all you do and all the creativity that you're offering this year. I love seeing what everyone's doing, and I really look forward to seeing what everyone's going to do virtually on June 6th. Please stay tuned through social media and your emails. There are some announcements that will be coming out in the next couple of weeks about lawn signs and a live stream program that we'd like to do on June 6th. So keep a lookout for that. Special announcement. I've been managing this event for many years, and if I had $1 for every time someone asked me what the t-shirt color was, I'd be a very rich lady. And I am very excited to introduce this year's t-shirt color. Peter, can you show us the color?
Yes, this year's color is?
Green apple, everyone. I think it's a very happy color, and I think our logo will look great on it. So excited for everyone to register and make sure you fundraise $100 and you will receive this great shirt. So thank you again to everyone for all you do. This event would not happen without you. So I'm happy to answer any questions.
Please do put your questions in. We had a few that came in already. We're just sharing the t-shirt BIC updates now in case you wanted to get that information again. And a reminder that we'll be sending a recording of this event back out, a link to the recording to everybody tomorrow so you can catch up on all of this. So Kari, there's a question about how long you can fundraise for. Does it end when the event ends on June 6th, or do we have more time after that?
So fundraising, our campaign will stay open until September 30th. So you will be able to fundraise until that day. And we will send out reminders of that to people as well through social media and through emails.
Terrific. Will the money that's raised on Facebook or the mini events be counted toward the t-shirt and mask incentives?
So if you're an individual, so if let's say Kari Pollack sets up a fundraiser and my Facebook fundraiser raises money, since I fundraised asking people to support me, that money will go towards me and I will be able to get an incentive.
Okay, great. We have another t-shirt question. For those who don't live in Connecticut, are you able to mail the shirts?
If you have registered and fundraised $100, yes, we will mail the shirts to you.
Terrific. Can I still sponsor the walk and run this year?
So you can still sponsor. We do have several virtual and printed sponsorship benefits. Some of our printed collateral materials have already been distributed and printed, but there's still several things that can still happen virtually. Social media and some of our emails, depending on what level you come in. So yes, you may not get the full sponsorship benefits.
Okay, great. tell us a little bit more about the tribute book too. We had a couple questions come in about that. How does that work, and how are people able to access it?
So if you'd like to view the tribute book, it is on the home page of the Walk and Run website. In the navigation bar, there is information about pricing and how to go about buying a tribute ad. The idea behind this book was it's online and it will run till September 30th. We thought it would be a nice way for people virtually to put an ad in memory or in honor of someone. If you'd like to promote your business, we thought it was a way to get involved and to support in a different way if you didn't want to virtually go out on June 6th and walk and run. So it's just a new way to fundraise and to support the patients at the Bennett Cancer Center. You can do your own artwork for the tribute book, or we will be able to provide a generic ad for you. And again, all of that information is under tribute book and the navigation on the website.
Okay, great. And what should people do if they have or need help with the website?
So if you need help with the website, there is an extensive help section on the navigation bar that has screenshots of different things to do and step-by-step, but you can always reach out to me, Kari, at kpollock@stamhealth.org, or to Patty Posey, and she's also listed on the website. She's our database manager, so she can also be of help if you're struggling with your participant center or something that has to do with the database or your contacts. And she's P. Posey at stamhealth.org as well. And we're both listed on the website under the help tab.
Okay, great. Okay, great. I don't know that we have any more questions. We'll just give everybody another minute or so to make sure that we didn't miss anyone. But Kari, do you have any final words of encouragement for folks as they're getting started this year?
Well, I think the great thing about being virtual is you can reach out to all of your contacts, as Peter said earlier, all over the country. It's a great time to be really creative, and I'm always willing to be helpful with those creative ideas. If you ever want to throw something at me and we can discuss it. I really hope people will go out on June 6th and walk around in your neighborhood or run in your neighborhood, because last year we saw hundreds of people around town, which is really nice. And it really shows the patients at the Bennett Cancer Center that everybody's there supporting them. And thank you. This event would not happen without all of you. And I'm inspired every day by all that you do. So thank you.
Excellent, and I'm really honored to be part of this event. You've welcomed me into this community a few years ago to support your work with the Walk and Run, and it's been a real treat to be able to be part of this and do some really great work. So I want to thank you and everyone for being so welcoming of me as I've helped you.
Well, thank you. And also, this takes a whole team. We have Gail Alswinger and Ginny Landell and Andrea Bass and Patty Posey. It's a big Walk and Run team that works every day to try to make this happen. So thank you to them as well. And they're always available to be contacted as well if people have additional questions or need help with things. There's a big team of us, so feel free to reach out. It takes all of us, not just one person. So thank you.
Great. Well, thank you, everyone. We really enjoyed having a chance to share all of this with you today. We hope you're excited to get started or continue your fundraising. And I'm really excited to see what you're able to do this year with the Walk and Run. So thanks, everyone.
And I hope we see lots of pictures on social media of everyone in their happy green t-shirts. So thank you. Good night, everyone.